Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And yes, these are very, very rare these days. They are very rare, but again, another big event has come up and I thought I would cover it because I've had a lot of people ask me about it. And I think what people need to remember when I give my opinions on these things, I don't follow the rest of the online world that much these days anymore. I'm really trying to focus my channel, what I do around my own training, my clients, my audience. And so I really don't pay attention to what's going on out there anymore. I just don't. I don't have time for it. It's not my focus. There was a time in my life when I did. There was a time when I did on this channel. That time just isn't here right now. I am focused on my own goals, helping my clients achieve, trying to get everybody strong. So I don't always have time for these things, and I just don't have the mental energy to really care. And I think when I covered this the other day, the original, when I was saying, hey, if it's not an official event, it doesn't count as a world record. People need to understand, I didn't have time to go research tons and tons of stuff because I really don't care. I'm covering this because my audience asked me to look into it and give my opinion. My audience asked me for my opinion. A bunch of them did. And the same thing with this. And that's okay. Take it or leave it. But I want people to understand I'm not emotionally invested in any side of this. I'm really not. But people have asked, hey, did you see Thor's lift? Well, hell yeah, I saw it. I mean, I think everybody's seen it, the 470 kilo. They're like, and how do you feel now about the world record now that they've changed the way they're going to accept it in the venue and everything else? Well, how do I feel about all that? And we'll get over to his lift in a minute. It's actually pretty impressive. So I'll cover what I think the odds are that he'll probably get it. No, I can't stand when people jump up and say, oh, he's absolutely going to get something or not. You don't know that. You can give a probability, reasonable probability based upon bar speeds and training weights and things like that. All right, that can give you an idea. But you can't be so silly as to think that you know for an absolute fact. Right? That's not how it works. We're talking about a world record here. Talking about a world record. So over to the point of how they're accepted. I got a lot of flack and I had to deal with a bunch of goofy trolls and clowns. And I just ban trolls. I don't have time for trolls. I don't have energy for them anymore. I hit the ban. If I even think you're trolling, I don't even care. I don't have time for it. I don't have the emotional energy to invest in bullshit. They're just gone. Right? Don't type troll and shit if you don't want to get banned. But back over to the point. People thought that I said, if it's not lifted in competition, you didn't lift it. I didn't say that. Right? We lift what we lift. Right? If you have 500 pounds on the bar and you lift it successfully, you lifted 500 pounds. Okay? If it's 800 pounds, you lifted 800 pounds. You're capable of lifting it if you did it. But a federation or a sport does not have to accept your world record if it's not inside their sanctioned competition. And that's what I mean what people have to understand. There's a difference between being able to bench 500 pounds and benching 500 in competition if you want it to count for anything. Like if you want it in a record book written down, and no, I don't believe in unofficial world record. I think it's a stupid title. It's either a world record or it isn't. I hate the term unofficial world records. No, it's your garage lift, it's your gym lift. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you hit something that's even remotely close to any world record for any class in any strength sport in your garage or your home gym, that's damned impressive. Right? That's damned impressive. You even get within 10% of any world record for whatever your class or sport happens to be. That's damned good. But it doesn't mean it counts as a record, and you shouldn't be saying stuff like unofficial world record. I don't like that. I think that's bullshit. Just how I feel about it. And it's like that in every sport in the world. No sport in the world accepts anything outside of competition as being a record. And that's fair. And that was kind of the point I had made before. If he had hit it in his garage, he'd be capable, have the physical ability to break the record. It doesn't mean he's broken the record yet. Understand the difference? Having the ability. Okay, fair enough. I mean, realistically speaking, if the guy pulled 501 in his garage with maybe not calibrated plates under questionable conditions, that's still insane. Right? That's absolutely insane. That's ridiculous. I mean, a display of strength like that. It's absolutely inhuman. It's inhuman. Well, let's come over to the point. Looks like they're going to sanction it. And here's what I would say. Well, as long as the governing body in this case says we are going to create a venue around this, right? We're going to create the venue. If all the plates are certified and calibrated correctly, certified judges, God dang it, guys, it's going to be loud out there. I try to film these at 4 in the morning, hoping there won't be outside noise. It never works. It's like right on the dot, 4:10, that stupid truck comes by and makes the beeps. I'll just keep filming around it. For those curious, they're collecting the dumpsters. So, over to the point of that, if they accept it, it's under meet legal conditions with calibrated plates, right? Not your gym plates, calibrated plates, equipment that they accept as valid for their federation, with judges that they have certified and they have sanctioned the event, okay? You're going to have to accept it. That will count. Whether you like or not, even if they do it in his garage, but they host the venue there and the federation approves the venue, their approved judges, their approved way of certifying the equipment, that world record will stand, and even I will accept it. So yeah, I mean, it technically counts. Now, people will say, well, that's BS. That's nonsense that they're creating an event just for him to try to break the record. Well, normally I would say yes, but given the global situation, the fact that competition in sports are largely shut down, if a federation says, hey, we want to create a venue right now so that we can have someone who looks like they might be able to break a world record so that they can go ahead and attempt it, I'm going to say we are in a slightly different circumstance because he doesn't have the option to go do it in a competition somewhere else. Right? If someone is capable of breaking a world record and the federation wants the publicity, I mean, they're going to put it on ESPN, and they want to create a venue for him to attempt it when he doesn't have any other choices, okay, but that's that federation's purview. Okay, that's their right to do that, is what I'm saying, given special circumstances. Again, as long as everything is done correctly, meaning that the plates have been certified. Multiple people have checked off on the calibration of the plates. They weighed them. They know what they're at. Competition legal equipment for their rules, right? That they look at it, okay, this equipment checks out with their own judges. By all means, that's going to count as a world record, and we have to accept that. And it's reasonable and fair to accept that at that point. And I would say normally just hosting an event like that would be nonsense, except that we are in a global situation to where going to a normal competition isn't an option right now. Governments have shut down sports all over the world. What are you going to do? That is a special circumstance. Right or wrong, it is what it is. Now, over to the point of can he make it? I'm pretty good at having to look at my own lifters and other people ramping up to maxes and estimating how heavy they're going to be able to go. He did 470. It was pretty fast. Okay? And anyone who watched it, anyone who stopped and watched the lift, that wasn't grindy. That wasn't slow. He pulled it pretty damn quick. Pretty damn quick, and it was a weight above 90%. Okay. In fact, if I've calculated it right, it's 93.8% of his world record. So we're above 90%. Generally speaking, and I'm not saying this is an absolute, and that's the point I want to make. We can't say, oh yeah, he's absolutely going to get it, because that's not how it works. You can crack under the pressure of competition. You can crack under the pressure of I'm trying to set a record and overpsych yourself and mess up. You can psych yourself out. A lot that can go wrong. You can get hurt. Let's keep in mind, these guys are lifting tremendous weights while using mind-boggling amounts of drugs. Keep that in mind for tendons and things. Okay, that's where most of your tendon tears happen in strength sports, is very frequently the drug abuse can be a big factor. And that's a hell of a lot of weight on his tendons and stuff. That's a lot of weight. 501 kilos. He could get hurt in the middle of the pull. Okay? The muscles might be strong enough, but he may not have the support structure to handle it. And it's one thing to say, well, I mean, but he did 470. You're talking about still another 31 kilos, man. That other extra 31 kilos might be enough to pop something off of him. Okay, let's be realistic. These are big ass weights. That could happen. He could crack under the pressure. Setting all that aside, because those are our other variables, right? Setting that aside, 93.8%, he moved it real damn fast. In my experience, when lifters start moving weights that fast, above 90% of a target weight, no grinding, no real slow of the bar speed, they're usually going to get it, right? The majority of the time, 3/4 of the time, let's say 3/4 of the time, they're going to get it. Okay. But then we have to factor in the other variables, cracking under the stress of competition, injuries, right? You got to factor all that in. If I had to gamble on it and pick, is he going to make it or is he going to miss it, I'd be in the direction. Like if you were to give me a 1-to-1 bet, hey, place $1,000 of your money on it in a straight 1-to-1, I would probably drop my money on it. That makes sense? Because I think it's more likely than not. It's not like, oh, 95% he's going to get it. I don't know, I'd put it at 2/3. It's above 50-50, right? The odds are in his favor. It's not certain. It's still questionable. But if that was a true 470 kilos that he lifted that we saw up here in training, if that was real, if that wasn't like shaved down plates or underweight plates or anything funny going on, if that was really 470, I'd lean in the direction of saying he's got a pretty damn good chance of getting it. I'm going to say he's more likely to get it than he is to miss it at this point. I mean, and that's being fair. That's being fair. I'm not really a fan, right? Not necessarily that big of a fan of the guy, but I don't hate him either. So being impartial, looking at the bar speeds, assessing things, yeah, I'd give him a 2-to-1 that he's going to get it. 2-to-1 he's going to get it. So I mean, odds are, let's just call it, odds are coming in May, there's a very good chance there's going to be a new world record holder there. Fair play to him if he can do it. You know, nothing but respect if he ends up pulling it off. But again, I want people to keep in mind, that's a hell of a lot of weight. That is a hell of a lot of weight to pull off the ground. I would not rule out a chance of a serious injury. I mean, being realistic about it, he doesn't quite have the same thick structure that Eddie has. Okay? And even if he makes the lift, it might be a case where the guy passes out. It might be a case of where it might kill him. You know, I mean, I hate to say that, but these things do happen. Like, he may not be the same after that lift. And I want people to keep that in mind too. You know, I mean, those things do happen, and it's unfortunate. But I remember Eddie saying that he thought he was going to die when he pulled the 500, right? And I think that's realistic. I don't care how big or strong you are, how much muscle you have, bone density, everything else. You're still talking about 500 kilos. My God, it's a lot of pressure to put on your body. It really is. Really is. So, I mean, that's my opinion on it. Look, at this point, based upon the way the Federation is doing stuff, as long as it's all certified and they've sanctioned it under these conditions, that will count. That'll count as a world record. Okay? That'll count as a world record. And I'll accept it. I mean, I'll look and say, well, I mean, yeah, it seems to be, at that point, it's meat legal. Under a sanctioned body, I mean, it counts. So, you have that, and then the probability of him getting it, I'm going to say more likely than not. I think he's got a very good, he's got more than a 50-50. It's not certain, though. And I just hope he doesn't get hurt doing it. That would be my main thing. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.